Over the last couple of years, we've seen our society separate itself into two camps. You've got the so-called extroverts, the social butterflies who are constantly craving social interaction and can't go for 5 minutes without talking with somebody or going out somewhere. And on the other side of the coin, you've got the introverts, the people who absolutely hate social interaction. People who spend every waking moment of the day in their man cave behind a computer, shuddering at the thought of actually going outside and talking with someone. That's like their kryptonite. They don't do that. Now, of course, I'm oversimplifying here because introverts are capable of socializing sometimes, and likewise, extroverts are capable of not socializing sometimes. It's about how long your so-called social battery lasts. It's not a black and white picture, and that is exactly why I do not like these two labels. I constantly see people trying to place themselves in one camp or the other and taking pride in this label they've assigned themselves. Sometimes they try to assign this label onto their friends and family. A lot of times people ask me which label I associate with, and I always can't help but think just how pointless these labels are, because personally, I don't see myself being a part of either category. On one hand, I spend a huge chunk of my time alone. I mostly talk with people over the internet, and I'm perfectly satisfied with that way of life. But on the other hand, I don't avoid in-person social interaction. If somebody invites me to a gathering, I'm more than happy to show up. I don't make excuses to get out of social events. Frankly, sometimes I get annoyed at being alone all the time and try to look for social gatherings myself. So when people ask me, so are you an introvert or extrovert, I legitimately don't know, because it depends on how I'm feeling that day, okay? Now, apparently they created a term for that as well. They call those people ambiverts, but that just begs the question, what is the basis for any of this? Because clearly nobody is constantly attracted or opposed to social interaction. Hell, even your environment can determine how often you socialize. Like, a brain surgeon is probably not going to be talking with as many people on a daily basis compared to a businessman or investor whose main job is to make connections and discuss commercial matters. And even jobs aside, somebody living in a city will probably talk with more people in general compared to somebody in the countryside who only has like 2 neighbors. And let's be real, you should be willing to engage in high or low levels of social interaction depending on the situation you're in. Like, if you're stranded alone on an island, you better get ready to be by yourself for a long period of time until you get rescued. And likewise, if you're on that island with multiple people, you should be ready to, communicate with them so that you all survive. Now, of course, this does not include extreme scenarios like solitary confinement where somebody could literally be driven to insanity after many years, but generally speaking, you should always be ready for a certain level of social interaction or lack thereof. Like, it's not like sexual preference where it's determined on a biological level with how your brain receptors fire off at different stuff. This is literally just a bunch of pseudo-scientific nonsense that we've taken as fact for some reason. It's literally comparable to astrology. When you say, oh my god, guys, I'm such an introvert, I always avoid talking with people, you're really not that much different from somebody who says, oh my god, guys, I'm such a Scorpio, I always get mad at people for no reason. It's all just a social construct. And I know people in the comments are going to say, dude, trust me, I'm a total introvert for so-and-so reason, or vice versa. But the fact is that your brain isn't wired to act that way. It's just a response based on your environment and way of life. I honestly feel like a lot of self-proclaimed introverts are dealing with a certain degree of social anxiety given how averse they are to talking with people, and people who call themselves extroverts just want people to think they're unique when they're just responding normally to the environment that they're in. And okay, even if these are just personality types and not solely based on your surroundings, why do we need to have a label for every goddamn personality type? Like, technically Squidward is a pessimist, but nobody calls him that. We just say that he gets pissed off a lot. So why can't we just say that introverts are people who don't like to socialize a lot and extroverts are people who do? Everything has to have a fancy name for it nowadays, I swear to God. And I think the reason why I hate these terms so much is because I've had a few people label me as an introvert in the past, and I always take it as an accusation of me being antisocial, which I get offended by. But regardless, we don't have to break down everyone's behavior into various different names and types. It's pretty pointless, and frankly, we all have better shit to do. And that brings us to the end of this video. Just so you guys know, I'll be going back to university after this is uploaded, and while I'll still be making videos, it'll probably be less frequent than it is right now, and on top of that, my next video might take longer to make than usual anyway. So if you're wondering in the near future why I'm not uploading as much, this is why. But as always, this is your captain speaking. I'll see you later.